Hello, this is Phoenix, the College Success Professor, and welcome to the Juneteenth edition of Momentum Mondays. This edition is going to be super short and kind of like a parent service announcement, in part because I know that we are all celebrating the holiday, and I just wanted to share some information about um, orientation, college orientation, which has begun. It's college graduation season and it's also college orientation season. So, for those students who are planning to go off to college in the fall, you probably have a bunch of things that you're supposed to do before you actually go back to college or go start college in the fall. And there are also things like orientation that are going to be really important on the list of things to do. So I just wanted to give some really inside tips and information about what you should be focusing on, what your parents, if your parents watching, should be focusing on to make sure that your fall semester is as the transition is as smooth, your experience for those 15 weeks or however long your semester is as good as it can possibly be. So usually during the course of your orientation, you are either registering for your fall semester classes or you may be asked to take an exam, an entrance exam or a assessment exam to see what level of classes you should be taking. And more specifically, picking out your classes is going to be really important. You may also get information about the dorms. You may also have an opportunity to identify from a list or a pool of roommates. There are a bunch of things that you can be doing during your orientation. Some days, some schools have multi-day orientation. Some schools have one-day orientation. Regardless of it, there is things that you should do as a parent, as a student before the orientation, during the orientation, and after the orientation to make sure that your semester, or to better ensure that your fall semester is going to be as smooth as possible. So I'm going to talk about some of those things now. So you likely, once you got your application or acceptance to the university, got an ability to log into the campus system. It's called a portal. It's called, it could be named after whatever your mascot is. But when you log into that, you get access to your email, you get access to the resources, you get access to anything. And so, one of the things that's really important, much like when you were applying to colleges, is to make sure you're on top of your email because universities are going to be sending you important information with important deadlines to make sure you don't miss. One important deadline can be related to financial aid, can be related to making sure that you have selected the right dorm, it could be related to a bunch of different things like that assessment test. Sometimes you have to do certain things before they allow you to register for your classes. So you want to make sure you are on top of the email. Also, you want to make sure that if there is an assessment of some sort, a placement exam of some sort, that you are taking that exam seriously, that you're giving it your all and you're giving it your full ability, because that will in fact impact the classes that you take. Some classes have prerequisites, some classes you have to have a certain level of understanding and information before you can actually get into that class. So definitely. And then most important, in my opinion, when you are doing your orientation, or if this is something that happens after your orientation, is your course selection. So many times, just because this may be your first time doing it as a parent, or it may be your first time doing it as a student, you may take for granted or just take whatever courses they give you based on your major and your interest. However, I recommend that you make more intentional and strategic decisions about your courses, not just your first semester, but all semesters. But even your first semester is really important because your first semester GPA that you get is going to be able to determine maybe future scholarships, your future ability to get in a specific major, your future academic career. So being strategic about the courses you're taking your first semester can be really important. So this is a time where you may have to self-advocate. For example, if you have a schedule that includes a math or a course that you kind of think you're going to struggle in, it's a good idea to ask. There's no harm in asking. Ask your advisor or who's ever helping you to pick out those classes if it is a possibility for you to take a different option or a different elective. Because, like I said, that first semester is going to determine or can determine the trajectory of your success or a lack of success in a specific field or specific major. So don't just take whatever the courses they give you. Definitely you want to go as early as possible on the range of dates that you may be given for your orientation. You want to go as early as possible so you have the broadest opportunity for picking classes. You want to make sure you talk with your advisor, you have an actual discussion about your strengths, about the classes where you think you will be academically successful, about the classes where you don't think you're going to be academically successful. And if there is no wiggle room or no leeway with regard to classes that you think you may struggle in, like there are courses across all universities that first year students struggle in. For example, like an anatomy and physiology course, an accounting course, the organic chemistry or general chemistry courses. These are courses that, you know, no matter where students go, could be a math class or pre-calculus class. These are courses that students tend to struggle in. So if you know, based on your high school experience or your past academic experience, that this is something that you've struggled in and it's on your list of rostered first semester classes, this is a time for you to advocate for yourself, talk about what your strengths or your past experiences were in being successful in these types of classes, and seeing what resources, if there's no opportunity for you to change your schedule, what resources are there available, and to start being able to make a plan for yourself to use those resources as soon as possible. So definitely that orientation time, although it's an opportunity for you to get to know the campus, for you to actually get to know as a student what is going to be good for you, what is really, thank you, Tori, um, and what is important for you, and what is, you know, what are the different people that you're going to vibe with on campus, what are the different organizations that you're going to vibe with on campus. There's a lot of, you know, fun stuff like picking out your roommate, picking out your dorm, but this part, this is why you're here, this is why you're going to college, to get an academic degree. So you're making sure that that first semester, being able to advocate for yourself and picking those classes, and like I said, this is a skill that you should be using, this is a strategy that you should be using every semester. You have at least 8 semesters of college. And so your first semester, I say, is one of your most important. So being able to not just, you know, take whatever sequence of courses they plop down in front of you, and being able to advocate for what you think is going to put you in the best position to reach your academic goals, to reach your career goals, even though that career possibly is 4 years away, you want to make sure you're doing things, because certain, you know, your GPA is going to remain, your first semester GPA as a freshman is going to remain on your transcript for the rest of your life. And so making decisions now that are going to benefit you long term is going to be important. Also, so I talked about that important thing with regard to your academics. The other important thing that is, when I asked a question to, when I made a post like, what are parents most concerned about? They named like 3 top things: safety, happiness, or being able to, you know, be okay, be successful, thrive on campus, and also money. So I do have some advice for all 3 of those, but one of those that's also going to be important, and maybe not necessarily now, but it's an opportunity for you to ask if you do have work study, or if you do are interested in working on campus. This is a good opportunity to ask those questions now. There may be people or offices on campus who may be recruiting or looking for incoming first year students, especially work study students, who can work in their office. So that's a good opportunity for you to see like where you would want to work. Do you want to work in the library? Do you want to work for catering? Do you want to work for the admissions office? Like, see all the different offices on campus, or find out where that information is. And then when you have home, that's when you go home, maybe that's a project you can look into to see how you can actually get a job on campus, because that is one of the best ways for you to connect to the campus. You can connect to the different resources, you can connect to the different people. So that's important. And then the other question, or the other answer with regard to parents wanting to their students to be safe, they're wanting their students to feel happy and feel like they're thriving and they pick the best school and they're doing well, are the organizations that are on campus. This is orientation period, is an opportunity. Usually they talk about the different student organizations or different activities for involvement and engagement on campus. So make a note of that. Find out what their social media is for the different organizations that you're interested in. Find out if they have a website. Find out what is the process for joining. These are an important time for you to ask these questions about how, when you get to campus, because there'll be a bunch of different things that you'll be thinking about when you actually arrive on campus, that if you do this type of pre-planning and pre-thought, that you'll be better set up for less of a trying to figure it out, because there'll be enough things to figure it out. You have to figure out where your classes are. You have to figure out how you and your roommate are going to get along. You have to figure out a bunch of things. So these are some things that you can do before you actually get to campus. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the things about what do you need to, who do you need to talk to, who do you need to identify as a resource. So if you had you know, past experiences from high school or past academic experiences where you struggled academically, or you lack time management skills, you are always procrastinating. So see what resources there are on campus to help support you in your transition, because you don't wake up automatically on your first day as a freshman on campus with the skills that you're going to need to be successful. You have to learn those skills, and there are people on campus who can help you, but they're not necessarily knocking on your door. You have to go out and find them. So that's one of the definite things that I want you to do. Also, if this is mainly for parents, if you have any unanswered questions um, about processes, about how things work, about how to pay the bill, about how to do whatever, how to answer the questions, how do they access the resources in campus. If you know your child has had maybe a mental health support system at home, like what are the mental health support systems on campus? How do they access them? Are they free? What are the actual health support systems on campus? Are they free? So as a parent, we're thinking about our child, and we know our child based on their 18 years or however many years that they've been with us. And as a parent, like some things that they may struggle with. So although they may be doing the fun stuff at orientation, I think our job as parents are to have, our pens and papers and notebooks ready to write down the important names, write down the important contact information, write down the important resources that maybe once the semester starts, your student is going to need, because it's, when you're on campus, you're right there. You can see where all the different offices are. You can write down the names and the titles of the people that you may need to reach out to, or that you may need to give your child to reach out to for support later. So I think as a parent going to orientation, there usually is parent information sessions. There usually is parent resources, but it's important for us. Sometimes parents, we think, this is mainly all for the kids, but it's not. These are opportunities for you to fill in the gaps when your child comes to you later in the semester when things are a little bit more difficult. So find out about the Academic Support Resources Center. Find out about the counseling and other support resources. Find out about all the things that you think, for example, if your child had an IEP or disability of some sort in high school, find out how the process works in college, because it is completely different in college. You don't know the level of support that is available at the college. So find out that information. That's really, really important. So like I said, this one was going to be short. I just wanted to give like a parent service announcement and also a student service announcement about orientation. Take it seriously. Have a plan about you as parent, which you're going to be looking for. Be able to self-advocate, talk to your child if they have difficulty advocating for themselves about, what are the classes. I know for sure that many universities have like a template of typical classes that, a first semester student based on the major usually takes. So Google that information. Look on your university's website based on your major. There's usually like a template. So look at those classes and come in prepared. And if you need to self-advocate, if you do have to take placement exams, be ready and be prepared. Get a good night's sleep. Make sure you're doing your best and putting your best step forward, and make sure you're staying on top of the emails, the communications from the college, so that you don't miss important deadlines, you don't miss important information. So that's all I wanted to say for today. Happy Juneteenth for everybody. This is short and sweet. We will be back next Momentum Monday. But like I said, I just wanted to keep this one short and sweet, and I wanted to give this as a little bit of information. If you found this information helpful, if you have a friend or a family member going off to college, definitely share this with them. If you found it helpful, give me a heart. And I will see you next week for Momentum Mondays. Thanks for watching. Bye.